Hello and welcome to Pedro's world. My name is Helene and today I show you how to adjust the derailleur. Before I show you how to adjust the derailleur, make sure you check a few things because they can also cause bad shifting. So it could be the chain is dry, the hanger is bended, the derailleur is bended, or even the derailleur is loose, or the whole drivetrain is used, the housing has too much friction because it's too dirty. So these could be the problems who cause bad shifting. So check that before we adjust the derailleur. So in my case, my bike has none of these problems, so I don't need much tools for it. I just need an Allen key for my one here, and sometimes you need also Torx. So just have this in mind, and a needle nose plier. Another very important thing is a working stand, so you can actually pedal and try your shifting process. On the derailleur you have three types of screws: the limit screws, then the one for the shifting cable, and then actually where the derailleur is mounted to the hanger. So make sure your derailleur is good mounted to your hanger and your hanger is not bended. So first I will explain you the high and low gear screws. These are actually not affecting the actually shifting. It just affects how low your derailleur goes and how high. So when you adjusted it wrong, the chain could potentially fall behind the cassette or here touching the frame, which we don't want. So this is the first step, and for this I'm demounting the shifting cable so it's loose and you can actually pull it with your hand better. It depends on the derailleur. Some have the H and L for high and low written on. In my case I don't. So there's a trick, just look closer to the derailleur itself, and for example here my screw is free, so I know exactly when I'm turning. Now it does nothing, so it must be this one for the highest gear because this is actually touching. So the best is to go behind the bike so you can see the alignment much better and start turning the screw until the rollers are landing perfectly with the chain and the high-speed cock. So I shifted now the gears on the highest and hold it with my thumb because the shifting cable is loose, so there is nothing that it holds apart from my hands. So make sure it's good aligned so it doesn't fall into the spoke side, because when that happens during riding you can destroy very quick the derailleur, the hanger and the spokes, and that's something you absolutely don't want. It's first of all dangerous and expensive. So this other screw, which was before pointing in nothing, so in the air, is now the one who is adjusting the low speed position. Responsible for the lowest gear. And before we tighten up the shifting cable, we're checking it by hand by shifting and pedaling all the way up and down and checking if this is not falling on the spoke side or this is not touching the frame. So next step is to adjust the shifting cable with the trigger and the derailleur. So for that you go on the highest gear, it's very important, so the cable is fully out. Then you turn this trigger screw all the way in, clockwise, and then roughly 1 to 2 turns out again, because when we mounting the shifting cable at the rear end, then we have here some adjustment possibilities. So now we're back at the derailleur. For this we need an Allen key and a needle nose plier. And now it's time to fizzle this shifting cable into the derailleur system. Like different derailleur has different systems, so in my case it's that way, and then I'm mounting it with the fifth a little bit, taking the needle nose plier so I can grip it better, and then pulling it a little bit and tightening. Now we're going to try if this tension of the shifting cable is good enough or you need some readjustment at the trigger. Here it already went slower at the next gear, so we will put a little bit more tension on the cable, and this we do anti-clockwise, so a little bit. So you're turning the trigger screw always a little bit more and more until the gear hops in the right position. Actually, the chain hops in the right position. So trying the next gear. Yeah, looking good. Yeah. Last one. So far, so good. And now down again. In case it goes too slow from the top to the bottom, so from the low to the high gear, then you have too much tension on the shifting cable. In my case, I found the speed quite nice. So it all went very well to the last one. So try it one more time. A little faster. And down again. Yeah, I would say that's it. It works. One tip, when you get a new shifting cable and a new housing, normally it stretches. So after a while you have to readjust the trigger screw or even here at the derailleur. But in my case, it's not new, so I don't have to worry that it stretches. There's actually another little screw hidden back there, and this little screw adjusts the derailleur rollers to the cassette. So make sure there's a nice distance between the first one and the first cock, and also a distance between the last one. If not, it shifts very unprecise. An extra tip from my side: when you're in the forest paddling and your gears don't work and it's making funny noises, just adjust your trigger screw by hand during paddling and just listen carefully. When it stops making funny noises, you're on the right path, and at the end your derailleur works well again. So that was it from my side. I hope you learned something and you're adjusting your derailleur next time by yourself.